All right, everybody, welcome to The Deep Dive.
Yeah.
This is a brand new podcast where we, help you get smart faster by diving deep into a stack of sources and pulling out the most fascinating, useful information.
Yeah.
It's like having a super smart friend explain everything cool and important without, making your brain melt.
Totally.
And guess what?
What?
This episode is AI powered.
Whoa.
That's right.
Crazy.
We fed all the info about today's topic to an AI. And it actually helped us craft this whole episode.
It's pretty meta, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
But hey, you're a Reason user, so I
God.
know you can handle a little AI magic.
For sure.
All right, so for all you Reason people out there, you've got your fingers on the keys, your rack is loaded up, but maybe you're looking for a new way to kind of shape your melodies.
Yeah.
Control them in unique ways.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Well, that's where MonoPlay comes in, this brand new rack extension from Tonic Band.
Yeah. MonoPlay is a fascinating little device because it takes this idea of player devices, which we know and love in Reason, and it focuses it completely on monophonic output. And it's not just about simplifying. It's about making choices about which note gets through.
So it's like a filter, but for notes instead of frequencies.
You got it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so imagine you're playing a chord, multiple notes at once. MonoPlay swoops in and picks just one of those notes to send onward.
So how does it choose? Does it just grab the highest or the loudest?
It can, but it's way more flexible. MonoPlay has this note selection parameter, and you can tell it to choose the oldest note played, the newest, highest, lowest, even the strongest or weakest based on velocity.
Hold on. Strongest or weakest?
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about how that could create a melody that mirrors the emotion of my playing.
Yeah.
Emphasizing the notes I hit harder. That's pretty wild.
It is. And then you've got velocity selection, which works similarly. You can choose to output the velocity of the selected note or have it be constant regardless of how you play. And remember, velocity isn't just volume. It can change a synth's timbre or articulation. So there's another layer of control there.
Oh, right. Yeah. This is where my brain starts to melt a little.
Yeah.
So we're controlling which note gets through and how hard it hits.
Right.
But all from a polyphonic input.
Exactly. And there's even more. The buffer setting is really intriguing. When it's on MonoPlay, it considers all currently held notes.
Oh, wow.
Even those from earlier in the phrase as part of its selection process.
So if I'm holding a chord on a synth pad, MonoPlay is constantly reevaluating which note to send out based on everything I'm holding. That could create some evolving melodic textures as the notes ring out.
For sure.
That's cool. Okay.
Turn the buffer off.
Yeah.
And MonoPlay becomes more immediate, focusing only on the most recent notes.
That's just scratching the surface of what MonoPlay can do.
Right.
It's not just about controlling single notes.
Yeah.
It can also send out control voltages,
Oh.
opening up even more creative possibilities.
Now you're talking my language.
Right.
I love getting things patched together and
Yeah.
interacting in unexpected ways.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, cool. So tell me about that.
so MonoPlay outputs note gate and velocity information
Okay.
as CV signals. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh boy.
Even when MonoPlay is turned off,
Okay.
meaning it's passing all those notes through unfiltered,
Right.
the CV outputs are still working.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
So even if I'm not using MonoPlay to filter anything,
Right.
it's still analyzing the incoming MIDI and spitting out CV.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. It's like having a MIDI detective working behind the scenes, constantly monitoring what you're playing
Right.
and sending out signals based on that information.
So I could, for example, be playing chords on one synth, but use MonoPlay's CV output to control the filter cutoff on a completely different synth.
Exactly. Or you could trigger a drum sequencer.
Oh, wow.
Based on the velocity of the notes you're playing, the possibilities are vast.
Okay, this is making me rethink my whole approach to patching in Reason.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back to some more practical applications.
Okay.
What are some real-world scenarios
Yeah.
where MonoPlay would shine?
One of the most obvious is taming those unruly polyphonic synths.
Okay.
You know, the ones that insist on playing multiple notes,
Yeah.
even when you want a single focused sound?
Oh, tell me about it. I have this one synth. I love the sound.
Yeah.
But it just won't behave monophonically no matter how I tweak the settings.
I know what you mean. MonoPlay to the rescue. Just pop it in front of that synth and boom, instant monophony.
Oh, nice.
You could finally get those smooth, expressive solos without any unwanted note clashes.
Problem solved.
Right.
Like a MIDI bodyguard making sure only the chosen note gets through the door.
Exactly.
What about something more creative?
Oh, okay.
Less about fixing problems and more about exploring new sounds.
Well, think about melody extraction.
Okay.
You have a lush chord progression going, but you want to pull out a single note melody from it. MonoPlay can do that in real time. It's like having a built-in improvisational partner.
That's cool. I'm starting to see why this isn't just a utility. It's a creative tool in its own right.
Yeah.
Almost like an instrument itself.
Right.
The way you can play with it.
Exactly.
And shape the result.
Yeah. And if you take that concept of melody extraction and combine it with some real-time tweaking of those settings.
Wait, you're saying I can change the note selection or velocity selection while I'm playing?
You absolutely can imagine you're jamming with a chord progression.
Okay.
But the melody is constantly evolving, shifting its focus based on how you're interacting with MonoPlay. It's like controlled chaos,
right,
but in the best way possible.
This is where it goes from being a cool tool to something truly inspiring.
Right.
Suddenly I'm thinking about generative music, ambient textures, whole soundscapes built around this one device.
And that seems to be a recurring theme with Tonic Mint, the developers of MonoPlay. They have this knack for creating tools.
Yeah, I was looking at their website.
Right.
And they have a bunch of other interesting rack extensions. It's clear they're not just pumping out plugins.
Right.
They're trying to push the boundaries of what we can do in Reason.
And that's exciting because it means we get to explore new sonist territories, right?
Yeah.
Within our familiar workflow.
Absolutely. So we've gone from note filtering to CV control to generative music.
Yeah.
All within this one little rack extension.
Yeah.
It's clear that MonoPlay is more than just a one-trick pony.
It's a tool that invites you to play, to experiment, and to discover new possibilities within your music.
Absolutely. And we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
So,
like, what are your first impressions?
Yeah. What excites you about the potential of MonoPlay?
How do you see yourself incorporating it into your own Reason workflow?
Let us know in the comments. We're genuinely curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Because for us, this deep dive has been a real eye-opener.
MonoPlay is one of those tools that seems simple on the surface, but the more you dig in, the more possibilities you uncover.
It's like they took this fundamental concept, monophonic output, and then said, okay, how can we make this as flexible and creatively inspiring as possible?
And the result is a rack extension that can solve problems, spark new ideas, and even change the way you think about MIDI and CV.
So if you're a Reason user, especially if you love to experiment and push the boundaries, MonoPlay is definitely worth checking out.
And if you're already using it,
we'd
love to hear about your experiences, your tips and tricks,
for sure,
the unexpected discoveries you've made along the way.
Because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Sharing knowledge, inspiring each other, and pushing the limits of what's possible with this amazing music-making platform we call Reason.
Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying.
And may all your melodies be exactly as mono as you need them to be.
All right, see you later.
I will.